We heard it in Mac's bulletin, and I want to expand on it, Graeme. I mean, 6 months after leaving for the yellow brick road of gold, Saudi Arabia, Jordan Henderson, we hear, wants out. The reasons we heard from Max, the heat and the standard of football. I mean, he must have known about the heat and he probably had a very good idea about the football. The money on offer, seemingly, was irresistible. But now, apparently, Henderson wants to leave Saudi Arabia and is keen to return to the Premier League or elsewhere in Europe. He moved to Steven Gerrard's Al Ettifaq from Liverpool in the summer. Apparently, he's had difficulty settling, not least Ettifaq have hardly won a game in recent times as well. He must have known what he was getting into, Graeme. He said at the time, I wanted something that would excite me. He talks about a project that was put in front of us in terms of the league and using my experience to try and help with that in many different areas and feeling that, that there was going to be people value. It was nice to feel wanted. So he felt wanted and he went out there. Now he says it's not for him.
Well, let's start from the back, or start from the end, work backwards. Nice to feel wanted, which means he was sort of getting pushed out of Liverpool, I would suggest. He would have known about the climate in Saudi Arabia. He would have known he was going to a much inferior league, given that the Premier League is the best one out there. I would imagine if things had gone really well, if they were sitting top of the league, and he was being well received out there as a player they thought they were getting, we wouldn't be talking about this. I think it's a combination of him having personally a miserable time and the club. Because the club's
underachieved.
Yes.
But he's part of that underachievement.
Of course he is. Listen, there's a lot. There's a lot to like about Jordan Henderson. Great athlete. Looks to be a really good type. I was asked a question about James Miller going to Brighton, and the way I responded at the start of the season, and I responded like this. I said, I think James Miller going to Brighton will make Brighton a better football club. It won't make their starting 11 stronger, and I think Jordan comes into that category. Having played abroad and worked abroad, Jordan Henderson doesn't have a trick. He's a workaholic, as Ronaldo is. They're very steady eddies, up and down the pitch, put the ball under pressure every opportunity. Really, really good types. Infectious.
But you managed and played in established leagues, didn't you?
They make other players
shine.
No, they make other players work hard because they embarrass people by the work they put in. But they're not. You know, none of the crowd and watching these games are going to get an edge of seat because
there's fetches and carries. There's fetches and carries. He's a fetcher, right?
Yeah, when they get in the ball, they're not going to do anything cute and clever. But every team, you can't have a team full of ball playing.
I wonder if part of it is he didn't price in the backlash. And
Sam, that's been and gone. This is about them not doing well.
No. I'm suggesting that is clearly evident, right? And I understand that. Neither is his manager, by the way, ultimately. But I wonder if he priced in the degree of vitriol that he gets every time he steps foot back onto a pitch in England playing for England.
Will that change if he comes back?
Who knows?
But
the point is, he opened the door to the observations that are made about him, and yes, there was some vitriolic observations.
You're talking about his previous support for the LGBT,
and now of course the overarching statement, which I think is attributed to him about wanting to grow the game. Let's be clear what Jordan Henderson wanted to grow. Jordan Henderson wanted to grow his bank balance, and that's fine. He's a professional sportsman.
He disagrees with that. He said it wasn't all about the money.
Well, of course it was about the money. No one would go to play in a...
People will see this club come with loads of money and he's gone, yeah, I'm going. When in reality, that wasn't the case at all.
Okay, so if we'd have said to Jordan Henderson, let's just put that through the ringer and disseminate that information. Jordan, you're going to go to play in a substandard league in the desert for £25,000 to £50,000 a week. Off you go then, because it's not about the money. He wouldn't have gone. He went there because of the money, and potentially because he was sold an opportunity about being a key cornerstone part of the building of a league. A bit like Beckham went to America in 2003 and was given a franchise there and afterwards as a result of his deal with LA Galaxy. And here he is now, potentially, if we attach some resonance to what's being said, not fancying it anymore. That's the modern day footballer.
I think it's not gone well for him personally. It's not gone well for the team. And I don't know his domestic situation, but if his wife, I think they live in Kuwait.
Been there 5 months.
I think they live in Kuwait and go to work in Saudi.
Been there 5 months.
But if your wife's not happy there, if his kids are out there,
is he not duty bound to owe it to his employer?
Yeah, if one of those things is not right, then it can compound the
How
problem.
does that play into your narrative that we had to have you tub thumping during the entire summer about how wonderful this league is going to be and how much jeopardy it is going to be for everyone else?
Michael Emenalo said exactly that. Michael Emenalo, who's the top man when it comes to football in the Saudi Pro League, said, we're delighted the big names are coming because they're joining something special.
We have an opportunity to do things right. And we want to do it well, and we want to compete. We want to develop the sport to be one of the best globally. But first, the Saudi Pro League has been one of the best leagues in Asia. And now we want to take that global, and we want to make our mark. And in so doing, we want to respect all the rules and regulations and all the tenets of the game in so doing. But our ultimate goal is to be one of the best in the world and to help enhance the game for everybody that's involved.
I mean, that was Emenalo, of course, talking up
he's an employee.
his league.
He's an employee.
He's an employee.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been going for a year, Simon.
Yeah.
The paint's hardly dry on it. We've got to give it time, surely.
No,
and the
this-
number of names they've attracted because of the money is undeniable.
But this is what they have to offer, okay? This is what they have to offer. This is the debate that you and I had during the summer, repeatedly, as you were telling me endlessly that the Saudi League is here to stay and going to decimate English football, and
It
everyone
is
else
here to stay.
right. In what it can be here to stay. But the only thing they have to draw people to them is the finances. And even if that can't even keep them there, what do they have to offer?
It's the same in your other great love, boxing.
Yeah.
They're throwing that much money at it that, they'll get their own way.
But,
Of course.
but with respect, if you're getting the two best fighters in the world to fight
What,
on an
Ngannou
individual
and
event,
AJ?
Fury and Usyk.
And Ngannou and AJ.
No, Fury and Usyk.
Simon, when Henderson experienced a bit of flack at Wembley,
Yeah.
and he did from some quarters, when he came back, following his previous support for the
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus community, if he was to come back here, how do you think he'd be received? Is he in for a shock?
I think people will, in certain circumstances where people have done something dreadful in society, where players have been convicted of the worst crimes and then found themselves back on football pitches, they'll never be accepted back again. You can bring into the case Adam Johnson and his behaviour that when he came back after serving his custodial sentence was never really allowed to play again. And maybe you'll have challenges with other players, like the Man United boy that's gone abroad. Maybe he'll have that challenge. He'll come back and he'll be ridiculed for the fact that he was so strident about his views. This is what I've never liked. I've always believed you're entitled to have strident views, but you've got to have some skin in the game. If you want to support a charity, you've got to get yourself in the sea and swim, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do something, you've got to put some backbone into it. Now, nobody wants to have skin in the game. He sat there saying a good thing about certain communities need to be represented and treated fairly, and then went to the very place that he spent most of his time vilifying by association. So that's the modern day footballer not being prepared to have any skin in the game. So he will get contempt for that, but it doesn't last forever.
No, Simon, if he comes back and goes to and stays in the Premier League, whatever club he signs for, they'll be on side with him.
Well, I mean, funnily enough,
Going around the country.
Yeah.
McAllister and Brett Ali was talking about this on breakfast this morning, and he says, he'll have options in the Premier
Of
League.
course he will.
I think he would absolutely jump at the chance of going to somewhere like Newcastle United. The fact he's a Sunderland lad might have something to do with it, right enough. But in terms of a move, I mean, I think that would make sense to all parties. You could sit here and name 7 or 8 teams that Jordan Henderson could play for in the Premier League right now. Don't think there's any doubt about it.
Graeme, has he still got enough to offer? That
Yeah,
his services might be
I-
required by 7 or 8 teams?
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll be in demand. I mean, he's 33 now. I think when you analyse his game, the biggest asset he has and always has is his athleticism and his attitude.
Do you think the international
So
opportunity might be playing a thing?
That the attitude won't diminish. If anything, that can get better, but something getting around the pitch that will diminish. You're not going to, as I've alluded to already, you're not going to give him the ball and ask him to do the cute and clever things with it. He's a real workaholic.
He's pulling on the jersey of Al Ettifaq every week.
Yeah.
And they're getting beaten.
Yeah, currently.
And there's the Euros in the summer.
Yeah,
For England.
It may all play into it. It doesn't suit him now. The decisions that he's made and the economic returns to them clearly aren't coordinating with what he wants, and there's something to be admired about that.
I mean, he must be really unhappy because he'd be on the end of a great big tax bill.
I mean, he talks about
not spending enough time out.
He talks about not being on the kind of money that people have suggested in the media. He's not on £700,000 a week. He'll be on significant money, and the big thing is that if you stay there for 2 years, it's tax-free money. So if he's on 300 or 400 grand a week, as opposed to that being 240 after tax, it's 400,000 a week ad infinitum. But by making this decision, you ridicule him on one hand because of the ridiculousness of the pivot that he did to go to play in a country whose morals and principles he's railed against by association. If it doesn't work, and it doesn't work for him, then, and he's prepared to give up the financials as a result of it, which means A, the contract that he's under, and B, the tax-free status that he will have achieved if he stayed there for a period of time, then you then say, is he putting football at the centre of the argument, which is a better position than the one he took initially? But I think in life, I'm sorry, it's just maybe it's because I'm cut from a different cloth. You take something on, you finish what you started. You made your decision. You wanted to go and play there. You gave a big load of noise about helping develop this league. Get on with what you've taken on.
That's got to be out of your playbook as well, has it not, Graeme?
Yeah, I mean, it's
You
not,
started it, you finish it. You wanted to go there, be part of this project, nothing to do with the money, although it's pretty darn good, 350 grand a week.
what,
So see it out.
is it 10 games in?
Bit more than that, I think.
You try second guessing. I think I'm trying to put myself in that situation. What would really, really push me to the point? Could I deal with the heat? Yes. Could I deal with
The money, yes.
No. Could I deal with losing every week? Yeah, because I take that. I'm responsible for that in some way. The one thing I couldn't take, I'm trying to break it down here, is if my wife was saying, I just can't do this. And I don't know, I'm second guess she might still be living in Cheshire somewhere, but if that is what's driving it, that's a whole different argument. The other two I could deal with. I'm not sure if I could deal with my wife telling me this is it. I can't live here.
Okay. For whatever reason, and we'll find out when he comes back, because it's looking like he's coming back, Jordan Henderson doesn't want to hang around Saudi for much longer. We'll see.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.